Welcome back. Another session with you, and really appreciate you to be part of this conversation. So today, as promised, I'm going to cover another book that I've read in my 20s, and let me go straight into it. Okay. So it's this particular book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth by T. Harv Eker. I think this book, right, really changed the way I look at things when I really read this book. But of course, there's so many principles and gems in it. I would really recommend you to read this book. But obviously, I'm going to focus on some of the key things that I think it really changed the way I do things, and especially in the way that I acquire wealth and brought me to where I am today. Okay, so follow me through. Okay, but of course, do support me in this journey. Okay, if you really like this video, and do like and do follow me, do subscribe my channel, do turn on the notification bell because it will really encourage me in this journey. Thank you. Okay, so lesson number one that I learned, right, is this thing called the issue that people has, right, is the number one reason most people don't get what they want is that they don't know what they want. It is true enough a problem that is very prevalent into most of the conversation that I have with anyone in life. Because think of it this way, right? Uh, when most people, when I ask most people what they want, right, and they don't know what they want, right, then is basically where they lost their sense of direction, right? They decide to just work hard. They don't know whether they want to be wealthy. They don't know whether they can be wealthy. I think the question is not about can or not, right? The question is, if you want to be wealthy, are you willing to do what it takes, right, to be wealthy? Okay, I cannot fault a lot of people regarding this, right? Because a lot of us, right, didn't really ask ourselves and let time go through us. Because a lot of when we grow up, right, a lot of the things or decisions that are made in our life, right, is actually made by our parents or even by school, by the grades, or even influenced by our surrounding friends. So, so I think for this moment, if you are hearing this from this video, right, I think get very clear about what you want and then go for it. Okay, don't go and worry about whether will you get there or not. One thing that I learned right through this entire journey, right, is to persist in really what you want. I mean, think of it this way. If you are drowned in the sea, the number one thing you want is what? Breath. Right? You will do whatever it takes, right? To struggle all the way and then go to the surface to get some air. So success is something like that. Success, you have to not just want it, right? You have to really desire it greatly. Okay. Uh, and I think with setting what with understanding what you really want, it give you a direction. So at least when you put in the hard work and work hard, you are going to where you want. Okay, so remember this thing. Okay, do know what you want. And number two, right, about regarding from this book, right, is I feel that because many of our learnings and example about getting wealthy, right, it is from these three areas, which is our government, our school, and our parents. I mean, to me, it's very simple. When I grew up, when I was young, I actually felt that I never want to be poor again. I want to come out from the poverty cycle. So this is what the book says, where the first element of change is awareness, because you can't change something unless you know it exists, right? For example, if I enjoy the comfort level I'm having, the pain that I'm going through, um, if the desire of me to change is stronger in terms of desire, stronger than the pain that I'm suffering, I think that makes me want to break out of the chain, okay, or a chain of poverty or a chain of whatever you think, bondage. To me, poverty is not just without money; it's really a mindset shift. Uh, think because without this awareness, right, we are not able to break this chain. And many of time, most people fall into this category of having a very weak or poor mindset, right? Is because of these three influence, right? Which that is why when I was young, I know that I don't have a few things, right? I don't have connection. I'm not very educated. I don't have money. My parents are not wealthy. Then how am I going to be wealthy, right? Most people I met, instead of asking how can I be wealthy, they will actually come to a stage of why am I poor? Why am I poor? Why am I not rich? Why is it me? Why? When you go into this sequencing of asking why, right, you are not into a state of mind, right, to solve a problem, right? Because I personally feel that very strongly, right? Um, a lack of money is never, ever, ever a problem, right? A lack of money, right, is always mean merely a symptom of what is going on underneath, right? What do I mean by that? So assuming now, I'm in the garden, I'm a gardener, I look at the plant is dying, the plant is withering. So what I will do, many of us will do a few things, right? Start to water, see whether is there enough sun, the soil, put in some fertilizer, right? That's all we will do. We will keep doing this repetition on and on and on. But the thing is, I feel that there's another area that this book talks about, right? It's actually the second element of change is understanding. By understanding where your way of thinking originates, you can realize that it has to come from in outside you, right? So assuming, after trying, after fertilizing, after putting water, etc., it can't work, you know, then I'm going to ask myself like, hey, are there any way, right? Are there any way, potential way for me to revive this plant? It could be as simple as taking out the plant or the tree, right, and put it into another location. I mean, a very simple example, like in Singapore, right? It's a very hot and humid country. It's very hard to probably grow certain fruits, let's say strawberry. Okay, I'm not aware. I mean, I'm not a very plant person, but this is an example that I gave you, so I hope you understand. But if it's in Australia, the weather is fantastic. It's very easy to grow very big and juicy strawberry, right? So it's the same, right? So where are we now, right, is purely the underlying symptoms uh, that is coming out, which is having the poor mindset, right? So check underneath, right? What's underneath? What's the root understanding of causing us to have this poverty in itself? Okay, by understanding that, right, uh, we are able to really break out of the cycle. Okay? Then one thing that rich people has, right, and don't fault me after reading this, right? Alvan is always about money, 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 money. No, I say again, I think in one of my IGTV, is that it's very important to know that financial freedom, right, is a very weak word for you to focus on, especially when you are young or even at my age. One thing we should focus on, right, is actually called this thing called freedom. What do I mean by freedom? Is money freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. So most people always focus on money freedom, which is financial freedom. But my question is, right, if you plan your entire life and you walk your entire life, right, assuming that you can have money freedom, then you have time and location, right, then it's not going to work in a sense. You have to have all these three in the conversation every year, every month with yourself, so that you can design a life, right, that have money, time, and location freedom. Okay, so I'm going to stop this here to give you some thought, and probably future video I want to elaborate on this. But again, coming back to the book, rich people manage their money well. Poor people mismanage their money well too. You do see the part, manage and mismanage well. So it tells me something when I was young, right, where I need to create a system. I need to incorporate certain way, right, that improve the proficiency or the effectiveness of me, let's say, saving money or investing my money, right? So the author himself actually have a money system that I also use it on myself, and I felt that it's very useful. I've been using this example with many young people, and I hope it helps. So is this 6 jars money management, right? So you can see over there, there are 6 jars. Each jar represents how many percent of your money should go for the individual purposes, right? Let's look at the first one, 55% regular monthly needs, right? So those are basically your essential. So it means what you need for let's say if you're renting a place, you your transportation, your food and your accommodation, right? It's like a day-to-day expenditure. So then the second jar is more like your play, right? It involves lifestyle. Okay, to me, I always tell everyone, when it comes to making money, and one day you start to earn a big bucks, right? Please spend it also, right? Because I think it comes to, in a sense that spending money sometimes do give you very good emotions or good feeling, right? And you have to feel the small celebration in you, when you earn the money or when you have created certain wealth, right? But of course, in a controlled manner, right? Because to me, it's very simple. If you force yourself, totally don't have any play at all, right? The moment you start playing, right? Okay, what's going to happen? Everything hell break loose. Means what? You're going to spend a lot of money and there's no control. So don't do that. Okay, keep 10%. Once you hit a certain amount, then use that for your own luxury. The third one is called financial freedom, or what we call my money freedom. So just keep that so that it is for you, for your own, for sort of how do I put it, for you to create that freedom for yourself. Okay, so fourthly, very simple, education and self-improvement. So at all time, go and attend programs. Okay, go and learn, go and use that money to buy book, attend courses, etc., etc. Okay, think of it is this way, right? In life, right, it's always good to have shortcuts, right? Because the more you have shortcuts, you make less mistake, you go through less problem also. So in any areas, okay, I'm not talking about just financial. It could be just communication, to be etc. 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 There's so many programs out there. I mean, during my time, it's really books and programs. Now, at least you can go to YouTube, which is so at this point, probably you can like and follow my channel. Awesome. If I have not done that, please do it. Okay. Yeah, support my cause. Thank you. So the fifth one is really long-term investing, right? So why you want to have long-term investment is really because you might have certain objectives that you want to achieve for yourself. Like for example, you want to buy a house, or you want to buy a second property, etc., etc., etc. That's or even use that for child to prepare for the next stage of your life. Okay, there's so many usage. Of course, you can always go and Google this system and go and read more in detail. I'm giving you a brief description of this. Then the last one is really charity, or any impact or cause that you really speaks to you and you want to give. Because think of it this way, giving also give you a good feeling also. It's a good emotion, right? I mean, think of it this way, right? It's like, hey, the more money you make, the more impact that you're going to give, right? So this kind of feeling is actually good for you. Because most people always feel that people who are rich, right, are evil. And honestly speaking, not really. And I'm going to tell you later on, you should not think this way because you will sabotage your financial success also. So next one. So two more to go. Follow me. Okay. So the fifth one is very simple. Rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game to not lose. So do you see that? First, there's two parts to it. One is called a money game. Okay. And one play to win and one play to not lose. Do you see a difference? And it's a very big difference, okay? I mean, to me, I feel that when it comes to this money game, I really treat it as a game, right? Because think of it this way. I mean, have you been to arcade? Have you played any game either on your mobile phone or your desktop, right? You keep playing it and you want to get better at it. I'm not saying that you need to be the number one in the game. Don't get me wrong. You just have to be good and over time level up, right? And let compounding come into play. So that's why having a system to gradually grow your net worth is very important. Do not just focus on your income. Income is good if it's very high, but also focus on another part called net worth. So I think the first book that I actually have a review and shared, right, is always to tell you that we always focus on net worth, getting our net worth down, having less debt in the same time. So why I show you this picture about burning money? Okay, so I want to share with you in my journey of playing this game, right? Am I right to say that there will be many lessons learned when we play the money game, right? It's like, when you go into different careers, right, you realize that, hey, probably this is not your career, and then you switch around with it, right? So similarly for the money game, right? So in my early journey, I think probably Elise, which is my wife, understand that I need to play this game, and to really play well, right, I need to have like multiple tokens, right? Keep playing, spend a lot of hours in it. especially after work, um, during weekends, etc., etc. So what happened is I think I probably lost a cumulative of more than 100,000, six-figure income. Sorry, not income, six-figure sum. But to me, I felt that why I say that don't play to lose. Okay, it's because it's like most people, what will happen is very simple. The moment they feel that they lose this amount of money, probably even in the 50,000 amount, they'll just give up. They'll just think that, hey, this money game is not for me, and I'm going to stop. But thankfully, for me, I succeeded in a way. I recover all the losses and eventually be, become where I am today. So to me, I feel that when I lose any money, right, it is more where am I learning any lesson from the losses, right? So that became uh, even when I win money, I celebrate. When I lose money, I will really tweak the whole investment process or even trading process for me. So it is the attitude uh, during this learning journey, when you're playing this game of money, and I really enjoy. And number one for me, right, is for me is I never think that I know everything, right? And that really keeps me on my toe, having a beginner mindset when it comes to investment. So every time I always tell myself, like, how can I not have how can I not have a biased view into what I'm investing, right? Because sometimes, when it comes to investment, right, we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves. We want to ask ourselves something like, hey, what could go wrong in the investment, right? In a way. But what could go wrong doesn't mean I'm afraid of losing. No, it's trying to see that, okay, if there are things that could go wrong, then what are the ways that I can counter and win that how to say that, what's the word to use, um, that 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 limitation in a sense, right? So I don't know whether it makes sense, but do comment below, and if you need me to elaborate this, I would love to have a deeper conversation with you. So it's a whole attitude of money, right? When it comes to um, starting your game, right? Don't go in the sense that, oh, what if I lose? What if I lose? What if I lose? Then it goes nowhere. So the question to ask yourself, right, is how can I win? Right? How can I win better? How can I win this money game? Right? The moment you speak in this manner, right, it's like the first few questions that I asked, right? How can I grow my wealth? How can I have my passive cash flow? How can I have time freedom? How can I have location freedom? So when you're in this track of asking, right, then it allows you to think differently, right? Like, my whole family, right? No one owns the car other than me, right? So in the past, if I live in my family's belief, I will think that, hey, I will probably never own a car. Okay, uh, what about a Continental car? But today, right? Do you know that? You probably don't know. Right? I actually bought a Continental car full cash, so it allows me to sort of like um, ask myself, how can I do it, without taking any debt? So the moment I ask a question like this, right, then my whole thought process will come in to achieve that uh, success for myself, in a sense. Okay. And then the last one, right, is the most important, right? And this will really change the way that determine you between setting apart whether you are wealthy or whether you are poor, or whether you are not so wealthy in a sense. But of course, it's a very, very, very people don't like to know that they are poor, but again, is being rich doesn't mean it's all about money, right? So rich people focus on opportunities, poor people focus on obstacles. So this is a very sad and very sad thing, right? Throughout the whole entire 2020, right, I've been talking to many people. Probably if you have heard this, right, there's this thing called two Chinese character called Wei Ji. So Wei in English, right, is actually danger. Ji is actually opportunity. Why I want to look at this two word Wei Ji, right? So Wei Ji means crisis, right? As you know, 2020 is like potentially one of the biggest crises of our time. But yet, do you know that it is one of the greatest opportunity for us? And what do I mean by that? So let me show you some numbers. So if you look at this is an August 2020 article. You'll notice that S&P 500 dropped about 35% from February high to March low. So entire about 1 to 2 months. But I can show you some facts. So it dropped about 34%. Right? You realize that the US billionaire, right, gained 1 trillion since the beginning of this pandemic. Likewise, in March to November, do you realize, okay, I'm not going to, don't need to see like all the individual name, just see the table over there. The average wealth that is created by the US billionaire is about 34%. Do you notice any coincidence? Do you think that is something very strange here? Why is it the same number? Do you realize, right? So, so to me, I really feel that I want to share this, and probably this is something that I want to be talking about it in more of my future webinars, or even some conversation that I can have with you. You know, if you like to, how for you, right, to take advantage of this wealth transfer that is happening. Right, don't miss this opportunity. If you are if you are watching until this end, this is something that I think will really change the world, the way you look at crisis at this moment. So I think the last one is the most important. Always do not look at just obstacle. Look at what are the potential opportunity in a sense for you and your family. So, so I want to end off with in everything that I share with you. Do make sure that investing is all about investing safely and investing right. Okay, and do like in all videos of mine, do like and comment below, and do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Bye bye.